I'm ready.
Let's go here. Man, there used to be a time when nobody would bother our senior citizens' money, Social Security checks. Well, these new folks that this guy has put into in charge of these cabinets, they all of them have every day have something crazy to say. But the Commerce Secretary and stuff, I don't know what's going on there. I didn't even know he was in charge of Social Security, but he was saying that if you cut off people's Social Security checks, and that way you can find all the crooks. And he said the people who holler the loudest are the crooks. That ain't the stupidest thing I ever heard. You, he who hollers the loudest is the crooks. I don't believe that he said that in front of somebody else or got in front of the mirror that morning and just looked in the mirror and he said that. I'm pretty sure if he had looked in the mirror, he probably would have realized that might not be the best thing to say. Or he may have thought that everybody are billionaires just like he is because he said that if his grandma, she was 92 years old, missed her Social Security check, he said she wouldn't be worried about it. Well, if your grandmother and you a billionaire is 92 years old, she shouldn't even want a Social Security check because her grandson is going to be taking care of her. And that's probably why she wouldn't be worried about her Social Security check because all she got to do is call up her billionaire grandson and say, grandson, I'm kind of short this month. Can you put a little cash in my checking account? And it was just like that. He probably put about $100,000 in there, so she wasn't to worry about anything. But think about the rest of us folks here, sir. There are a whole lot of grandparents and senior citizens out there that if they miss that check, the first check, they may not even be able to eat. They may be looking for that money to buy them groceries, or they may be looking for that money to pay their light bill or their gas bill so they can stay warm in their house. I don't understand these folks. Well, I guess I do. When you got more money than you can spend in your lifetime, you don't care about other folks out there who are struggling, who are within that much of being thrown out of their home. Okay, Mr. Harvey, I'm done with that.
Well, like I said, we've been talking about this off and on since we've been doing these podcasts. And Yale University Budget Lab has looked at the budget outlined Republican push through the House and the Senate a few weeks ago include 880 billion cuts in Medicaid, 880 billion cuts in Medicaid, I'll say that again, 230 billion in SNAP or food stamps, and a $4.5 trillion tax cut for the billionaires. This is their game plan. And here's the deal. $880 billion. Now, are they going to do that in 1 year? I doubt it. I mean, they're gonna just start cutting, taking people off of Medicaid. Every chance they get, they be looking and scrapping. They got all these people in there, putting their people into these positions. You offer Medicare. you offer Medicaid, you offer this, you offer that. So, and they're going to be working it so that they can get that $4.5 trillion. And it's going to be real nice and soft so that, and of course, they're going to hurt the POCs first, people of color, and they will hurt some of their own, but they don't care. And that $230 billion in food stamps or SNAP is going to really hurt a lot of people, and it's going to hurt the economy too, because those people that get those food stamps or those SNAP cards or whatever they call those cards, they're going to that's going to slow down the sales in the retail grocery stores. So we'll see how that works out for them. And then the Medicaid is going to hurt the hospitals. It's going to hurt the clinics. When a little kid gets sick and he's on Medicaid, he got to go to the clinic. When something happens to an elderly person, they got to go to the doctor. They don't have Medicaid no more. You made a statement, and I assume that is true, that they're planning on when their grandmama go to the hospital, they can't pay the rest of that bill. Only Medicare is going to pay a certain amount. Then they're going to leave it up to the child or the grandchild to pay for it. So my beef is this. We got a sorry ass government. You got two people come in here and literally rape the country. And the Republicans have no shame. This man should be impeached. That's all I'm gonna say that because I got another document that they claim that this is an article saying that what they plan on doing down the road. Go ahead, Ed.
Well, I'm going to kind of fill in a few gaps here, Ted, on what you just said. The tax cut that you just said, that for the $5 trillion to the rich folks, I guess they are trying to do some accounting finagling. So what they're saying that is that uh, it won't actually be that $4 or $5 trillion, and it's going to be stretched out over, I think it's either a 7 or 10-year time period. So they're trying to fudge them numbers in so they can get this thing and stuff through without it really supposedly hurting the debt. That's what the House is trying to do. They trying to fudge the numbers like that. But the Senate Republicans, they just done gone crazy. They have some accounting that even your 6-year-old would look at and say, how in the heck did they do that? So what they're trying to say is that since they've already got the tax cut enacted and it's already counted toward our national debt, that because it's not, they don't have to deal with it when they come up here and they put it into a bill, they just going to ignore. They're going to ignore all that $2 or $3 trillion out there, that we gonna forget about that, and so we're gonna make these numbers work because that don't count because it's already going on. So, man, I couldn't believe what I read that they did that. I couldn't believe that they thought that they could hoodwink folks like that. But they're trying to do that. They're trying to hoodwink people to say that this tax cut that they trying to get for their rich friends, that they can take whatever tax cut they did in 2017 that is still going on right now and say, well, we're going to erase that out so it doesn't look that bad. So they're going to erase out something like 300 or 400 billion dollars and stuff that still is on the books and stuff to be had. I can't believe that these Republicans are trying to hoodwink these people. I guess some people are probably going to be hoodwinked by it. They probably say, "Oh, that's right," but how in the heck are you going to be able to hide 400 or 500 billion dollars in tax cuts that you've already gave out? I don't know. It's beyond me that they are doing this. I'm just flabbergasted and stuff with that. It's my grandchildren are going to be still paying for this daggone debt crisis if we are still around. If they haven't bankrupt this country, and they're looking at a 13-time bankrupt businessman who was they elected as president because he knows how to bankrupt something because he's famous for that. So I guess they figured, well, he can bankrupt this country and we will still be okay. Well, bankrupting his own business and bankrupting the federal government are two wholly different things. Because when you bankrupt this country, who gonna buy your debt again? Your dollar is going to fall out of the sky. People will no longer take it in this world as currency. I remember when I was growing up, little bitty guy, you cross over into Mexico, and they had their money was in pesos. Some of these people were taking wheelbarrows of pesos to the store to buy a loaf of bread. If we keep on going, we're going to be taking dollar bills and $100 bills to the grocery store to buy a loaf of bread. Okay. I'm done, Ted. This is too much.
According to this article, the Sentinel Intelligence newsletter, is Trump going to declare martial law? Now, according to this, is that the right-wing corners of the internet suggesting that the day Trump will declare a state of emergency to invoke the Insurrection Act and begin rounding up people who've posted things to Substack and social media that offends him. Could it be? I'm skeptical that he'll be so date driven, but I have noticed that he's shut down multiple counterterrorism programs in the FBI, the DOJ, and White House. I suggest he's hoping for another 9/11 type event that he can exploit to become as popular as George W. Bush was. I wrote last month, still fully expected Trump to provoke, welcome, or fake some sort of disaster to attack and justify his going full dictator just like Hitler after Germany. That's his game plan. That's what he wanted to do last time. And that's probably the reason why Nancy Pelosi wasn't all that hot about doing having that military come forth.
Well, our defense secretary has already threatened Mexico with sending troops over there and to their country and to a sovereign nation. It's a threat, but he's saying, "Well, I didn't mean that." Threaten people, tell me you're going to invade them with military, and well, I didn't mean that. Oh, Mr. Harvey, our president, he likes to get low. Well, his belly is scraping the ground right now. He decided, he woke up one night and said, who can I screw over today? So he wrote out an executive order to take away the security clearance for Joe Biden
Yep,
and Kamala Harris
yep,
and Hillary Clinton.
yep.
A past president just now became a past president. He revoked their security clearance. I don't remember Joe doing that to him.
Yes, it did.
He did?
Yep.
I don't remember him doing it. I didn't hear him do it.
They didn't trust him.
And it what?
They didn't trust him.
Oh, okay. But why take away Harris? And why all of a sudden he's bothering Hillary Clinton after all these years?
He don't like Hillary, man. He don't like Bill Clinton.
Well, he didn't do Bill, he did Hillary. They say anything about Bill, they just said Hillary. And that was kind of strange. And our Doge boy is stooping to the low of the low too. He is now begging Tesla employees to buy Tesla stock. Well, after he told them to buy it, they haven't bought not one stock, but they sold 740 some thousand stock. They sold. So so his plea has hit deaf ears. And we come to find out that he has Tesla plants all around the world. His second largest Tesla plant, guess where that's at? In China. In China. China has the second largest Tesla plant in the world. But nobody's buying them cars, even though they work there. They got a job. You got all them people who work there got a job, but nobody in their country is buying Tesla cars. They buying these new Chinese cars, what they call them, BYDs or something like that, BDY. They got a name for the acronym, BDY cars. It's supposed to be a heck of a lot better than Tesla cars. Now they got cartoons going around and showing them ugly trucks going over these bumps down the road. And the whole back end of the truck is falling apart. And they keep playing it over and over and over again in a loop. Driving over a bump, bam, and all the panels on the back of it just falling apart. Oh, they treat my boy bad. Donald says that he's a great American hero. And if you listen to them folks on Fox News, He is the best thing that happened to this country since, oh man, I can't even think of the best thing. Probably George Washington. That's how good he is. He is a saint. He is a patron. I couldn't sit there and stomach listening to them folks praising Elon Musk. It had to be. I don't know how much they paid them to do it, but they just can't help falling over themselves praising this man and Donald Trump. I don't care how bad they do, they falling over each other trying to praise them. So they have one of the largest audience in the United States watching Fox News. So you got millions and millions of people sitting there and being indoctrinated by Fox News. Most of them believe that stuff. Most of them believe it. Go ahead, Ted.
I'll just say one thing about that.
This hypocrisy is too much. Go ahead.
Until it hits you, you don't feel it. No empathy, no sympathy, no concern. But I'm going to say this. Social Security cuts about $1.6 trillion a year. That's where there's a huge opportunity for the banks. Now, we remember George Bush tried to kind of bring that up, but it didn't fly. And here come Elon Musk, who's supposed to be genius, but we know he ain't nothing but a con artist and a grifter. A huge opportunity for big banks and smaller ones, like the ones Elon wants to create with and for X, to administer the funds, skim a few percent off the top, and get rich, rich, rich. A few federal judges are enthusiastic about the program, though so Trump SSA guy Lee Dudek is now saying that if Elon and his teenage hackers can't get fully into the guts of Social Security Administration, computers and data, giving them all our medical, financial, historic employment information, he's going to simply shut the system down so that nobody gets a check. I want to turn it off and let the courts figure out how they want to run a federal agency, he said, according to Bloomberg. Judge Hollander, overseeing the AFL-CIO lawsuit against Doge, noted that Musk boards were violating both administrative privacy laws when they let the Doge boards have unbridled access to personal and private data of millions of Americans, including but not limited to Social Security numbers, medical records, mental health records, hospitalization records, driver license numbers, bank and credit card information, tax information, income history, so on and so forth. This is the plan, bro. Money is the new porn. Now, why this guy wants to be a trillionaire, I guess he wants to be the first trillionaire, the richest man that ever lived in the world. So, but we got people sitting on the sideline, and I'm talking about not on the left side, but on the right side, sitting on the sidelines, letting it all happen because they're getting a check. It ain't the Democrats, it's the Republicans. It ain't the Democrats, It's the Republicans. They know that man needs to be impeached, him and his VP, and Musk should be arrested. They know it, but they're gonna allow this stuff to happen because they don't know how to govern. Their governance has been horrible for the last 20 years. And let the truth be told, Republicans have never learned how to govern. They don't know. They don't write. They don't know how to write laws. They don't. They don't know. They don't even understand. Only thing Republicans are good for is they are business oriented. They are business oriented. Most of them, not all of them, but most of them are capitalists. And here we have 25 million people working for the government. 25 million. I'm talking about local, state, and federal. Out of the workforce of 163 million people. And then you had another 10 million that's working for NGOs. So that's 35 million people that's doing what we call service to the community. At least that's what they're supposed to be doing. So
Speaking of government, next month there are several elections coming up. We got 3 House seats that are coming up for a vote in the next month. 2 of them, Ted, is in your state. One is in New York. Democrats got a probably good chance in New York, but I have no idea what's going on there in Florida because you guys got a crazy state down there, Ted. Crazy, crazy state. So, what's your assessment of those 2 elections and stuff? You got, I don't know those candidates and stuff. I do know that one of them sent me a text message last week and asking for some money to help him to win the election. And he said something in the text message that kind of shook me because I've never heard of elected official, well, a person who's running for office, open his mouth and say that. He was a gentleman, a man. Well, I ain't gonna say that. He says, I ain't gonna even say that. What do you think, Ted?
well,
If they got a snowball chance in hell.
one of those districts is that guy that was up for, was his name Grass?
Getz,
Yes,
not Getz, yes.
Well, that's a Republican stronghold. So, and we don't know what the makeup of the people. I went out today, and man, I'm gonna tell you. Usually I'm a very spiritual person, and the mood, bro, was not happy. Wasn't angry, but it wasn't happy. And I live in Hillsborough County. Hillsborough County is pretty much middle of the road Democrat. And I'm telling you, the mood was solemn. I didn't see nobody. Usually, when you go into different stores, people are laughing, talking, communicating. Everybody was just silent. I'm talking about the lines was long, bro. People wasn't even talking to each other, and they was just, and that's a spirit, and that spirit right now is all over this country. This man has brought sadness to this country, insecurity, doubts, where we headed, what we're doing. When you got thousands of people losing their jobs, all kind of changes, unnecessary changes at you, people don't know. So it's hard to tell, man, because, at one time, this was a Democratic stronghold. It was more to the right, but it was still a Democratic stronghold. So it's hard to say. And the thing is that you have so many transplanted people from the East Coast, New York, and all that. They got out of New York to come to Florida to retire. And then you have the Canadians. Now they're upset. And a lot of these Canadians are dual citizens. So we don't know. But it's not a happy feeling, bro. I don't know how it is in your area, but and you can tell, man. So I have no idea what these political people, these people are going to do as far as, there's a lot of people here that swear by Trump, do or die. He can do nothing wrong. Even though they're telling them every day, this man is not good for the country. So I guess you gotta feel the pain, bro. We all gotta feel the pain because we got stupid people. Stupidity is real. Ignorance is real. So we'll see. More power to him, I say.
Well, Ted, I really can't judge a lot by my area where I live at because, like you
I
said,
know.
until it touches you, you don't really care, and that's where the attitude that I see around here with the folks here in my neighborhood and around.
And it's not going to touch them in your area.
Yeah, until it touches them, they don't care. I mean, it really, man, it's kind of sad and stuff in a way, just like it is down there that it's going on. That, but I don't believe that these folks around here are diehard Trump people. They just don't care. It hasn't hit them, and they still working. They still have their jobs and everything. Who are the ones who are working? But most of the people around here are, I'm pretty sure, they in the financial industry in the world and everything, and they dealing mostly with the stock markets and whatever is dealing with in the financial portion of this economy. And the only thing that's kind of making them kind of somewhat maybe a little bit, alert and stuff is that the stock prices have gone down, but they haven't gone down enough to really hurt a lot of people because most of them, just like you said, Ted, when you be talking about stocks and buying stuff, they are diversified. They may have one of the stocks and stuff who are falling down, but they got other stuff and everything that's still up there and making their money. So as long as one or two of them are making money and the other two aren't making any money, they really don't care. Because if all of them are performing very well, they're doing very well. If one of them is not performing very well, then okay, fine. I'll take their little loss and stuff because they can still gauge their lives and stuff and still be okay. If they lose, few $1,000s a month, $10,000 a month. It doesn't bother them. And but most of the folks out there, they don't even make nowhere near $10,000 a month. It's not heard of for them to do that. But these folks down here, it doesn't bother them. So I guess that's the mood is here. I just figured that by now, since we saw what happened there in Iowa and everything, that they might get a big turnaround. But from what you're telling us now, Democrats got a snowball chance in hell of taking over the majority.
Well, like I said, that territory that guesses in is a ruby red district, bro.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So
they to take over, they're going to have to win at least. They got to win 2 out of those 3 seats that's open. Now they're pretty sure they might be able to get New York. New York is always somewhat in the conservative areas and stuff and everything, but they are most of the people up there in New York and stuff do not like Trump. So with girlfriend gone, Stefana Bishop, whatever her name is and stuff, there's a Democrat might be able to take that seat. So if they don't pick up at least 1 seat down there in Florida during this whole election and stuff, then old Johnson gonna still remain the Speaker of the House. But that margin and stuff dropped very close then.
well, the first district, they got a poll in here. It's 68% Republican, 31% Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
That's District 1. District 6, 65% Republican, 35% Democrat.
So they don't need a significant amount of the Republicans to come over to them, but if they can get 10 or 15% of them to come over, they got a chance.
Did you just hear what I just said? 68% in that area Republican.
Okay.
First district. 6th district is 65%.
Okay. So we looking at what, 15%?
No, that's not 15%. They need 20, 30%.
If you're at 60-some%, if you take it down to 65, if you take it down to 15, then you at 50.
$35, yeah.
Okay.
So you
So
still need a significant amount of Republicans.
There must be some independents and stuff in there because both of those numbers don't equal up to 100%.
Well,
So you
35
must
and
have,
65
you must
do.
have some independents and stuff
35
in
and 65 do, and 31 and 68 don't, but still. And they've raised so far in District 1 over 15, both parties, $15 million.
Whoa, they want that seat.
And of course, Elon Musk can contribute quite a bit. Money is the new porn, bro.
Yep. And we also have a state Supreme Court position opening up in Wisconsin that the Democrats need to win that seat and everything, or they're gonna be able to gerrymander that state again real bad. So they're looking to take that seat and stuff back, get that seat and everything back from the Republicans. So, and I hear that Musk has already dumped in about $30 million into that election. So he's taking his money and spending it.
Yeah, man, because he's looking for X to take over, and then that what they call it Starlink to take over, and of course AI to take over. So he coming here to rape America. And the people are allowing it because they bragging about him. Oh, he's a genius. He's here to help America. He's a genius. And see, the thing is that Donald Trump going to have control of that money. So he's going to be using that money and divvying out that money to his people. That's why the Democrats are so pissed off.
Well,
And Schumer.
it's only going to. I I believe that most of the folks and stuff outside of this country are no longer sharing any high military information and stuff with anybody here in the United States. They probably cut them off real bad.
Well,
So I know I would if I'm over there in Britain or Germany or Canada. I am not sharing anything with the United States anymore. You can't trust that man. They probably stopped sharing information with him as soon as he became elected because they knew he's a sellout. He was going to give away information, so he got that pass and stuff is following him. And he's matter of fact, I don't even think Russia trusts him. To tell the truth, I don't believe they trust him. By the far that they can throw him, because he might sell them out for the right price.
well, I'm gonna say this, and I don't mean no harm to the people, whoever's listening to this. God is in control.
Oh man, hey,
That's
I'm in
all I
total,
gotta say.
I'm in
That's my
total agreement.
final word because, as far as I'm concerned, let them do what they want to do. The people gonna have to raise up and realize that this man is not for you. But let him do what he want to do because he gonna do it anyway. Because look what he just did. He just defied and not even taking any kind of orders from that judge. The judge can sue the people that did it and levy fines on them and all that, but they ain't nothing but money. And then they say it's gonna take 2 3 months before it go to court. So by that time, they didn't probably those poor people, the innocent people, the undocumented, sitting up in some God forbidden place.
That's
It's just
usually,
cruelty,
Ted,
man.
what
It's just
happens. That's
just
usually what
cruelty.
happens when in the legal system. That's usually what happens. It takes a while for the wheels of justice to roll because it's always been the wheels of justice always roll slow. The wheels of justice.
That's because they want it to go slow.
Yep, they roll slow, and he's used that justice system like a well-tuned guitar, get himself through the primary and through whatever thing he needed to
They
get
all
done.
scared, bro.
Pardon?
That's BS.
Well, he still used it. He played it, played it, and kept playing that card. Keep on fighting them. Keep on going to court with him. Keep on doing it because they're gonna give up. And he's sure enough right. Most of them gave up. I see that Columbia University then finally relinquished themselves and said they're okay. We're gonna turn over all these dissidents who are on our campus, whoever they want. They can have them now.
$400 million, a lot of money.
I guess. I guess they say ain't no Arab or Palestinian worth $100 million. They can't pay. That's the way they look at it.
Well, they
Like you
should have
said,
thought about that
money.
before they should
Like
have ran all those people off that campus.
they said, money is it. Money will do it.
I don't understand what these people thinking. You know, right is right, wrong is wrong, and what those protesters was doing on their campus was wrong. Don't mean that they can't protest. You can go out there in the street and you can walk and protest. but to stop these students from going to school and getting them all involved and hot and bothered, because a lot of people don't want these children. I don't blame them. You know, nobody want children and mothers and people being killed, just bombed, their homes destroyed. But sometimes you gotta say, okay, well, I understand your situation, but not here. Take it in the street.
Well, that's what they'd have done.
Well, that's what they should have did at first.
Well, I think they had some very, very, very progressive presidents and board members out there who figured that it would go away and they wouldn't have to worry about and deal with it. And it didn't happen that way.
Well, whatever the case may be, all I gotta say is that sometimes you gotta use a little knowledge and common sense and experience to know and look ahead. What is the repercussions of this?
Well, I guess they did, Ted. They gave it up.
No, but I'm talking about prior to.
Well, they did. They thought about it. It took them a little bit longer to think about it. That's all. It took them
Yeah,
a
it
couple
cost
of
them
months.
400 million and then a whole
Took
disgrace.
a it took a couple of months and a whole lot of money to make them realize, oh, they ain't gonna forget. We can't bull crap our way out of it. So we better go ahead on and relinquish. And there's a whole lot of people and stuff who were sad that they did that they gave up. Uh,
They
anyway,
gave up
Ted.
because when Trump came in office, they knew that he was going to come there and bring the military in. That's why.
Well, I don't believe he brought the military in. That money did it. He just said we're gonna cut them funds off. We taking them funds away,
Well, that
and
just
nobody.
happened 2 weeks ago, bro.
Yeah, but it still took them some time to let them know they wanted to find out if they're serious or not. We have to understand human nature, Ted. That some people and stuff, it takes a while if you get a brick and you throw it at them and you hit them in the head with it, sometimes it take a few minutes, a few seconds for them to say, "Whoa, shit, I've been hit." Cut the head off. That's all. Everybody don't have soft heads. They got some hard headed folks around here. You gotta kick them real hard for them to believe that you're serious. And that's what they did. They kicked them real hard, and they finally said it finally hit them. Boom! Oh, they hit me.
Well, more power to them, and like I said, and I'm gonna say this too. I appreciate what AOC and Sanders is doing, and they're out there. At least they're doing something. They having rallies. I see that lady up in Minnesota, Omar representative, had her town hall. I was listening to that today,
Hmm.
and they should have been having town halls all over the place, even while Kamala was running.
They got lazy, Ted. They got over there into DC and they got into the echo chamber and they got lazy. It takes a whole lot, man, to get people to realize that that ain't the place you're supposed to be at. And I'm still wondering and stuff why my boy Jeffrey ain't out there on the hard stroke and doing everything he can. He don't need to be over there in DC. He need to be out there in the streets. He needs to be
Sometimes,
doing
some of those
something.
behind the podium talking about what the Republicans doing.
That's
We
that
already know what the
that
Republicans
crap
is
ain't
doing,
gonna
bro.
fly because we know that it is not gonna fly. But that's what his thing is. He still wants to stay up there in the echo chamber. He thinks if he stay there that he can stay in charge. But sometimes you have to get out there with the people if you want to stay in charge. Oh, anyway, Uh, I'll be following AOC and Bernie. Their little side show is coming up on YouTube every time they go somewhere, and they got some big crowds coming out there watching them. But I don't see them going into the right places yet. I ain't seen them in them deep red states yet. I want to see them in them deep red states. I want to see them going into Kentucky or West Virginia or deep into Iowa. I want to see them get into Oklahoma, or Nebraska, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina.
Where's the rest of them at, Ed?
But they the only one getting out there, Ted. I'm telling you, they the only one
I'm
getting out
asking
there.
you, where are the rest of
Hey, I'm telling you, they done got lazy.
them?
They got lazy. They are lazy. If you telling people that you're in a crisis, then you better get up and start doing something. But evidently, they're not believing that their own words. If I'm in a crisis, I'm gonna do something different and let
Yeah,
folks know we are in a crisis,
big time crisis, bro.
big time. But they not. They still sitting up there doing the same old crap. Up there, and I'm doing my job. I'm over here, DC, and
You
that's
know, the
it.
Bible tells us there's a time for everything. So right now, it ain't time to be a statesman.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. Anyway,
That's
Ted.
time to be a statesman.
Anyway, I can't. All this stuff we said ain't hitting him in the head. They ain't doing nothing. As soon as Schumer got hit in the head, he went out. He got on the View. He went to MSNBC to Chris Hayes' show, and that's it. He went
His
to.
heart is head, bro. His heart is head.
That's it. That's all I need to do.
His head is hard.
That's it.
And his heart is all about the money.
And
And
he's a leader. I'm the leader, and they can't tell me nothing. And he was right. They ain't told him nothing. They ain't stood up. Nobody done stood up after he did that. Nobody stood up to him. You wrong. You need to get out of there. You need to get out of your leadership. You did something wrong. Oh, anyway, NC2A,
it's a wonderful
NC2A,
Saturday, and I want to cut this program off because
N,
I don't want to see the last of St.
NC2,
John
NC2A.
and Arkansas.
I see Purdue was the first one into the Sweet 16, huh?
Yeah, Purdue, yeah.
They're the
But they
Sweet
sorry
16.
self. They're a sorry team.
Oh man. I see North Carolina that bit the dust early, the second round. Well,
Sorry team.
actually the first round. They just bit the dust. They can't do nothing.
I don't know. These boys is too. They don't act like they want it, man. You know, some of these players, man, they act like they don't want it, man. They. It's a different level, man. They ain't stepping up. North Carolina didn't step up, and who was that other team that was a favorite didn't step up. So Clemson didn't step up.
Yep, they Clemson, Kentucky, they didn't look too good. I think
Kentucky,
they lost. Yep.
yeah, Kentucky didn't
Louisville,
step up.
Louisville lost. University of Louisville lost.
I don't know. Did Illinois win?
Yeah, they won. But they
Okay.
playing today though. I don't know if they won today, but they won the first round game. I saw them. They playing oh man, who they playing?
Iowa, I think it's Iowa. Ain't it?
They playing somebody in the Big Ten. Yeah, they playing somebody in the Big Ten. So there hasn't been no real big
Well,
surprises, I don't think.
Duke is the favorite, bro.
Duke's the favorite, huh?
Yeah, that's what everybody keeps saying.
Well, they won their first game. They shot through somebody and stuff real bad. But Auburn and stuff, they seem like they doing real tough out there too. So we'll see. And I see Michigan and stuff. They in they'll be playing the day of tomorrow, I think, to get into the Sweet 16. Gonna be some good stuff out there, man.
Oh yeah, the last 16, 8 games gonna be pretty good.
Oh yeah, Oh yeah, that's gonna tell a tale. Gonna tell a tale. I haven't. I've been surprised, but not real surprised about what's going on. I see Florida and stuff came along, and they wiped somebody.
Florida's tough. Florida's
Yeah,
tough.
they ate somebody. They wiped somebody off the map. Ooh, ooh. So we'll see what's going on here. Anyway, we're gonna end this, people. We about done here. Ted already said his final word because the man is in charge. He is in charge. So I'm hoping, like I said before, my my mustard seed that got smaller. I'm barely able to see it. I'm barely able to see that mustard seed. I'm gonna have to get a magnifying glass here real soon because this man, I don't know if we can take any more of this.
I guess we got to have faith in Schumer.
Yep, we got to. No, I can't have faith in Schumer. I'd rather just go ahead on him. They can take me on down, take me to the devil, because if I had to depend upon him to save me, I'm in trouble.
We ain't got no choice, bro.
Hey, I'm in trouble. If he's my savior, I'm in trouble, big trouble. Y'all looking at a drowning man. Anyway, people, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Have a good day. Have a good Saturday. You folks get out there. At least down here in the south, it's kind of getting warm around here. It's good weather to be out there walking around, playing golf, and getting out there and walking around the neighborhood and visiting your folks and everything and enjoying yourself. At least I am. Bye.